Welcome back, of course. This is K24 This Morning as we get into the newspaper review. As always, keep tweeting us at K24 TV. The SMS line is 21222. We'll be sampling those as we continue right here on the show. If you're just joining us, we're joined by Honorable Onyonka, Speaker of Nairobi Assembly, Beatrice Alachi, and Honorable Kanini Kega as well, as we jump into the big stories of the day. We're now moving on to what seems like the big referendum question. Ruto tells off Raila over referendum. The quote with the star goes as, when BBI puts across their proposals, we will not accept the spirit of tsunami. First of all, is the question with the referendum if or when? Is it certain for sure that we're going to have a referendum, Madam Elachi?
Well, yes, it will come at one point.
So we are past the question of if.
We are past the question of if. And I think the most important thing we can do, and I think when I listened to the Deputy President,
right,
he said we are all Kenyans, we unite, and all he believes, as much as he supports the BBI, he would want us to appreciate that we must sit down and look at all the issues together. So first of all, that was a good sign of saying we are coming now in consensus, in agreeing that yes, we need it, but it is the how. And for me now, what we need to ask ourselves, and I'm hoping the BBI team will make Kenya proud by ensuring, bring out the issues. Don't get now to the report and leave what Kenyans, because I know in many counties there are those who are, some of them even said, oh, we want our governors to just be CEOs where they are appointed and all that. So all those things, thrash them out, and then let now the representatives of the members can now look at the report, and they will say, this report is either weak, we need to now look at content and ask ourselves a review. They have been the ones who have been always bringing in the acts of making that constitution to breathe life. So I think that will be the best way. But the most important thing also, as leaders, I know as women of Embrace, we took our memorandum and we were very clear. We were very clear that indeed, if you're talking about inclusivity, we will want to see a presidential system that appreciates a hybrid sort of. And if not, we ask ourselves what is the other best way for this inclusion, so that we don't ever go to an election where you're fighting in a divisive election. Two, I think we have said the appointive positions. As women, we are proposing to have a 50-50, because this is appointed from the president. So the cabinet, the ambassadors and all that, let it be 50-50. Then we are saying the 2/3 agenda. We talk with political parties and we look, or just pick Article 177 the way we are doing with the county assemblies, and we finish this issue of the formula. We are saying corruption, we are saying you cannot be bailable. And we are saying in that corruption, let us look at both sides. Let us not just come, and you can see how many young people who have worked as officers are now finding themselves in court. And we are saying, let us relook at the whole process of procurement and ensure, if indeed you are starting a big project, then the Auditor General should not wait and should not be given the mandate to come after. The moment you start, he starts with you, all big projects that are with billions, so that the first, you finished your first phase, the Parliament Committee approves that it comes and sees you have started. It approves, you go to Treasury, you are given a certificate, you go even to Central Bank, you are given a certificate that indeed we are ready now to give you your second phase. That is how we would have saved Aror and all these things we are seeing.
Madam Elachi, I hear you running. And as Madam Elachi enumerates and just puts out the issues that she don't put in the referendum, Honorable Onyonka, let me bring you in on this, because when you look at the headlines and when you know, the public reads what's going on, it seems like this isn't even a referendum question. It's almost like a political supremacy battle when Honorable Raila Odinga says that Tanga Tanga is going to be swept, and Ruto comes and talks about what he's saying. The question of what we really want to solve isn't even being answered. It's, we are sweeping these guys out or bringing these guys in. Are we getting lost as to what the referendum really should be? Honorable Onyonka.
I wish you had a different approach to this. I can tell you the truth that for me, I'm agreeing with Madam Elachi. We as a country, must look for solutions to our problems. And indeed, yes, our problems are actually political. I think we love the toxicity in our politics.
Right.
I wish that the former Prime Minister didn't have to make such certain comments. I wish, how I would wish that the Deputy President would not even discuss whatever the former Prime Minister discussed. But when you come to the nitty-gritty, our country needs a rethink. I can give you just 3 examples. Number 1, you have a country right now where all the opposition members of all the political parties, once they lose, they stay at home. All right? That creates a problem for you automatically, because these are the people who are representing people. How can you have them stay out of Parliament, out of the Senate, out of political engagement? So it creates a level of antagonism, hate. Many of these, I mean, an example I'm using is that you have Prime Minister Raila, you have Musalia. In fact, Moses Wetangula was through, I think, by luck, that he is still in the Senate. Right. Number 2, we need to decide as a country. And because I'm in Parliament with my brother K24, a very sad scenario that we have happening is very simple. You have in our Parliament the Senate interrogating, auditing the same issues that members of Parliament are auditing. We look like fools. I mean, you have a matter which is coming, whether it is the Aror Kemuerer Dam, which is the critical issue that PIC is investigating, or we, like, I mean, what is called the another committee that interrogates, implementation committee. We go and do that. We go for the same thing. We ask the same questions. What happens next? You see the Senate going to do the same thing.
It's almost a duplication
of
rules.
We have to decide whether the Senate is actually going to be the upper house and whether the National Assembly is going to be the lower house.
Right.
Let us not beat about the bush. These are critical issues. Number 3, the reason why I'm for BBI and I'm not for Punguza Mzigo is very simple. When you look at the reasons which were given why certain constituencies had to be increased and others, there had to be border delineations and creation of certain areas. Right now, I remember my brother K24 having mentioned to me when I was in Parliament, his constituency has got 8 wards. Mine in Kisii has 5. All right, in Kituru South. Shouldn't we start asking ourselves why he has got 8 wards and I have 5? Why are we talking about, oh, these are these people just want to spend our public money, there's nothing of value that these people are doing, members of Parliament are just, we need to sit down and look at ourselves. He comes, his constituency, the total number, no, Kiambu, there's a constituency in Kiambu, I think the one of Juja has got constituency has got 246 registered voters. Right. My constituency, I have got 52,000.
I have 120.
He has 120.
Right. So these are the issues we're looking at.
Yeah, these are the issues. Okay. Whether you scream at it and say, oh, we need to reduce, what are you reducing? Okay. Let us look at what BBI has. Let us look at what Punguza Mzigo has. Let us discuss this intelligently. Let us pick what is good from either side. Okay. Listen to what she's talked about, the corruption. Okay. If somebody has actually, and we raise the threshold, right, and we know that somebody was involved in corruption, and this individual actually, we have got the minimum threshold which has put him in a position where there's a likelihoodness that this individual, if he's taken to court, there's a possibility that he would actually be convicted. Why are you giving him bail? And he has stolen 26 billion shillings.
Honorable Kanini, let me bring you in on this as well, because some people are looking at this and saying the reason why most politicians are for BBI is because they are looking for security of jobs. You know, and when you talk about the fact that now you want to increase, in case you don't get, the first seat, and you lose out, you won't be left in the cold, as has happened with some of the leaders right now. There's a position for you. And they're like, that's not really our issue right now. Wengine wanasema wanataka tu kupunguziwa mzigo. Honorable Ken.
In any contest, there has to be a winner and a loser. And we have to accept, because that is the reality of democracy. But having said that, I want to share the same sentiments with my colleagues here. That we are already beyond the if referendum is going to happen to when. And actually the when is next year.
So the question is
the question. The question is the question. What will be in the referendum? And for me, I envisage a situation whereby it will not be a contest like we did in 2005, whereby there was the yes and the no. And it really was a serious, divisive, and actually precipitated the fight or the post-election that we had. So we would not want to go that route. For me, I believe that we should have a consensus, identify the particular issues and areas that we have issues with, not just the political seats, because at the moment we are just focusing on the political seats, who will be the Prime Minister, who will be the Deputy Prime Minister, and all that, forgetting other very critical issues. For example, these independent offices. We have many independent commissions, which of course, to me, they are not doing any justice to the country. You know, you're just creating offices with 12, 15 members who are just earning a salary, you know, earning a salary and doing nothing. Look at, for example, the case of IEBC. Why should we have 9 commissioners, you know, drawing a salary for 5 years? And their work is only for 1 year, you know. We can have commissioners, 3 commissioners, like what we have in India, whereby you only have 3 commissioners. And you know, India is a big democracy. And then we have a secretariat that is well prepared. So it is a conversation that we want to have as a country. But let's not just focus on the political seats. Because at the moment, the proponents of Punguza Mzigo, they are saying that the BBI is creating more positions. And I believe that is not the situation, because we have not even seen what BBI has tabled. The tragedy of the Punguza Mzigo is that it is cast on stone. You cannot even change a comma or a full stop. What they have proposed will go to the referendum as it is. And of course, it has so many flaws. It is, you know, that floating that bait to the MCAs. You know, on one side telling them that you will be the bosses now. You will be the one controlling the CDF and all that, so that they are enticed and they pass it. But at the end of the day, there is another trap whereby they are saying that there will be about 215 wards, so to speak. So basically, the MCAs who are now being enticed and being told that this Punguza Mzigo is for you, actually is not good for the country. So for me, I see a situation whereby as a country, after we are presented with this BBI, because the BBI will come to Parliament, we will debate it soberly, and I believe that we will be able to come up with an agreement such that next year, we will not just go for a referendum. It will not be a contest. It will just be an issue to endorse and agree as a country that this is the constitution that we want. Not a political contest, not people positioning themselves so that at least they will have the upper hand for 2022 and all that. So to me, and that is what I play, that Kenya is not about 2 or 3 individuals.
It's much bigger than that.
Kenya is bigger than 2 or 3 individuals. And it will go beyond the 2 or 3 individuals. Kenya belongs to all of us. And the earlier we realize, and even them, the earlier they also realize that Kenya belongs to the millions, the 52 million or beyond Kenyans, then it will be better for us.
Okay, fantastic. Let's move on from that particular headline in the Star now to the Daily Nation. Front page of the Daily Nation taking a different angle, not matters politics, but what's happening in the education sector. Raila bid to save NAT as more teachers flee. Heart of the crisis, 18,000 teachers decamped to rival Kuppet because it was not party to a dispute that resulted in the stoppage of the implementation of a pay agreement. Meanwhile, NAT officials were divided over the National Executive Council tomorrow to discuss the suspension of Secretary General Wilson Sossion. Honorable Raila Odinga are being brought again to the table as broker par excellence. Of course, you're supposed to go to Taita Taveta and sort out what is happening there in terms of the disagreement with that particular county government. Now, seems like he's the solution for this one. Is this his new role, and how do you think this will play out? Because it seems like from one quarter, Madam Elachi, some people saying that all of this is going on because Sossion will have to step out one way or the other. He's been a thorn in the government's flesh, and they're going to use and money always talks. Withdraw the money, Sossion will have to exit NAT.
Well, I wouldn't say withdraw the money or a thorn in the flesh. I think one of the things that Honorable Sossion should agree with is the law.
Right.
And it is very unfortunate. And, because he knows very well, the moment he stepped into Parliament, one of his roles was going to go.
Absolutely.
You know. So for him now to say you want to hold, there's nobody in Parliament. And they used to have different associations that they hold. But the moment they came in, the law, they followed. So for me, first follow the law. You've been now deregistered. And by the way, it reminds me of a lady when I was in Senate, when Chairman Nyaoga and his team was being vetted. There's one woman I will never forget. I can't remember her name, but she's elderly, and she said, one of the things I would plead with all of you is that when you are in government, take the responsibility to work the way government is supposed. Don't be lied to that you will never be found at one point. She told us, serikali ni siri kali. And even if it is 60 years, and they want you, they will come for you. They
will get you.
So we, in all these battles Honorable Sassion has been having, at one point he should know you are fighting, there's government, and you'll have to exit at one point. So for me, in this one, he's going to lose and look so bad. So instead of going into that, just let them go and now reorganize themselves. What I normally say, if you're wounded, you retreat, and relook at it. You're in the committee, so you will be still there looking at the issues of teachers, because you sit in the Committee of Education. And I think that's where the conflict is. You can't be in the Committee of Education and then facing them. I think that is what government is trying to tell him. Yes, so either you leave that Committee of Education and go to another committee.
Honorable Onyonka, this is someone who would be on your side, on your team. Has that debate happened? Has he sought any counsel? Because it seems like his days are numbered from the headlines that we're getting every single day.
I think the truth, there is just like Speaker Elachi has said, Sassion has served this country. He has been there for a while. He has fought for the teachers. And I think there are those who feel that his insistence of wanting to be in Parliament made him look like he's compromising the values and the interests of the teachers. But I don't really blame him per se. To me, I have looked at the issue of Kuppet and NAT for a very long time, for the last 10 years. And the disagreements they have are basically that feeling that Kuppet feels that we are children, I mean, we are leaders of the upper echelons of our educational trade union movement, and NAT is for the lower echelons. It's the same sibling rivalry you have between the Senate and the National Assembly. And I think, like again, Speaker Elachi has said, Sassion needs to look at, in order for him to save the union. And again, another thing I forgot to say, sometimes when you see these wars, it's about money. All right, there's a lot of money that is being fought
with the membership.
With the membership.
So when the members
yes,
split
if
to
you
the
have
other
210,000 teachers, everybody is donating. The donations which they give is something like 240 million a month, which is incredible amounts of money. So that has been the reason why this has been going on. But I think Sassion should rethink, should relook and make a decision whether he's going to remain as a member of Parliament or whether he is actually even, I mean, I don't think there's anything that would stop him from resigning as an MP, because after all he's a nominated member of Parliament, so that he can carry on with the services of running the union.
Okay. Honorable Kega?
Yeah, if Jubilee today revokes my certificate as a Jubilee member of Parliament, I automatically lose my seat as a member of Parliament because I have been nominated by Jubilee. The same case with my good friend Sassion. He is the Secretary General of NAT, Kenya National Union of Teachers, because he is a teacher, or he was a teacher, and employed by Teacher Service Commission. The Teacher Service Commission withdrew the certificate of him being a teacher. So the moment you lose that portfolio that you are a teacher, you cannot then represent the interests of teachers. Secondly, you cannot, as a state officer, you cannot earn two salaries. You can't be employed by the Parliamentary Service Commission and you have a salary, and then you have another employee somewhere else because he also earns a salary. In fact, a bigger salary than
as a Secretary General.
As a Secretary General, he earns more money than a member of Parliament. That's for a fact. You cannot eat your cake and still have it. So Sion is in a very difficult situation. And I think the best thing for him to do is either, to me, is to resign as a member of parliament, because there are more advantages out there. He gets over 2 million shillings in NAT. Over 2 million. Yeah, it's over 2 million shillings.
That's quite shocking.
Yeah,
I know.
That's the truth.
That's the truth.
He gets over 2 million shillings in NAT. So, given an opportunity, given those two options, I can tell you for a fact he would rather relinquish as a member of parliament and remain as NAT. But now, he is not also sitting plenty in NAT, because the TSC has already withdrawn. And of course, these are elections that are done after, I think, 2 or 3 years. Right. So he is not also very safe there. On that side. So he has to make a decision. And he has to make it very fast. But he has put himself in that situation. Yeah. Because when he came to parliament, the first option, he said that he has to sit in the committee on education. And of course, in parliament, we give you an opportunity to also sit in a committee that you are going to add value. But instead of him adding value, he became a problem, because you see a situation whereby TSC is here. He has the advantage of getting a lot of information and documentation as the NAT official. So on the floor, he prosecutes the NAT or the KNUT agenda, as opposed to him being a member of parliament. Okay. So of course, it brought a lot of issues. So it's a situation of creating his own difficult situation. Okay. And I think since he is the one who has soiled himself,
he needs to get himself out of it.
Absolutely.
Okay, fantastic stuff. As we come to the tail end, we'll get your final comments, 30 seconds each. Of course, you can start with Honorable Onyonka. We looked at the dailies, but you can give your parting shot as well.
I just wanted to give my parting shot on Auditor General Uko, a man that I have known for the last 8 years, because I've been in Parliament longer than that. He has served outstandingly under a lot of pressure. We have actually sometimes really frustrated him in Parliament. I think the executive sometimes has queried his credibility and his integrity. I wish him well. He served our country with dignity and decency. And I hope that the issues he has raised will be captured by us in Parliament, and make sure that we make the changes that he has recommended, which I couldn't narrate. Right. And I think that even Madam Agnes, who is the Controller of Budget, who worked as the CEO, the chairperson of the CDF, before she was confirmed as the Controller of Budget, she also served extremely well, and she has also come out as a Kenyan who loved the country. I wish them well, and I hope that they get better opportunities out there. I believe that with Uko, if somebody was looking for an Auditor General and they were from Malawi or Zambia, he would get the job.
He's a man for the job.
He's carried himself with dignity and respect.
Okay. Asante sana, Madam Elachi.
I'll just add my voice on it and say that I think the recommendations he has given are critical recommendations for us as a country just to look at. I would propose that his office, I hope Parliament one day will ensure that we give the Auditor General's office a chance, maybe in the month of April, to go to Parliament for a joint sitting of both houses. And before you go to your budget and get the next budget, they are able to outline and say, we gave money, and your projects are this. Some of them have done well, some of them are not doing well, you're still in a deficit of this, some of your contractors are rogue. He outlines so that when the finance person comes in, Parliament is able to say in committees, we are not giving you money because we gave you 10 billion and you didn't even spend. So we are reducing and cutting. I think time is up for Parliament to help us just deal with this corruption.
Following a cue from what they have said, and I think we follow the same route. Of course, Oko worked under very difficult situation and circumstances, of course, with the new constitution, and of course, he did his best. I was in a Public Accounts Committee, and we really looked at the audited accounts, which, of course, had so many issues. And at some point, we also said that we need an auditor to audit also the Auditor General. And yesterday I heard him say that he has an issue with him being audited. And it is not him who is being audited. It is the accounts which are being audited. And right. I don't even understand why you would have an issue with the audit being audited. And I think we have already crossed the bridge. We have an auditor who will audit the Auditor General, because they are human beings and sometimes they go to agencies and they also get compromised. Yes. So we also want to know the truth, whether the staff have been compromised and all that. But
so badly.
As the governor, or as the Speaker of Nairobi has clearly said, we also need to put into practice some of the recommendations that have been given by the Auditor General. Okay. If a particular ministry has not properly utilized the funds that we had given them in the previous year, and using by what the Auditor General has actually given, then definitely we should also make sure that we reduce some of the amount of money that we give to these agencies.
Asante, Honorable Kega, we leave it at that particular point. Honorable Onyonka, asante sana for making time. Speaker Elachi, thank you so much. Honorable Kega as well. Thank you so much for going through the dailies this morning. Keep your tweets coming in at K24 TV as we go through them right here. Your views on the news, we welcome them right here on the show. We take a short break. We are back with plenty more as we get interactive right here on K24 This Morning.